every dollar is squeezy. The girl's got the answer, you better believe me. Take it from Tara. Take it from Tara. Take it from Tara. Take it from Tara.
And welcome to the June 24th edition of Take It From Tara with our special musical guest, Rusty Bladen. He drove all the way in from Madison, Indiana to be here with us tonight, and he's got his guitars and his harmonicas. He's ready to rock and roll with us throughout the afternoon. So thanks a lot, Rusty. Glad that you're here. This edition of Take It From Tara is sponsored by AVC Security for Linda Hillenbrand's Woman of the Year campaign for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And man, she did a great job. Linda received the Champions Award for raising a ton of money for leukemia and lymphoma, and we are so very proud of her, as well as of her sponsorship of Take It From Tara right here on Crescent Hill Radio. Derby City Dog Rescue is in the house with Caroline Kaufman and Robin, one more time? Della.
Actually, we're from Slugger City Bully Buddies.
That's right. Oh, yeah. I said Derby City Dog Rescue. I apologize. Slugger City Bully Buddies.
We have a Derby City Dog Rescue dog with us.
That's what I got confused about. Also, Susan Dallas is here from the Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Honesty Coach, Marina Durbin, is in the house to challenge your integrity as well as talk about one of our favorite projects ever here on Crescent Hill Radio, An Act of Dog. Once again, welcome to Rusty Bladen, our musical guests. You can talk and play at the same time, or you can just talk to us, whatever you want to do.
Well, I'd rather just talk and play later.
Tell us about your life as a musician. Where do you have your home base as far as performance, or are you just a wandering minstrel?
I am a wandering minstrel, and I do have a home base.
Excellent.
It's in Madison, Indiana. I've been playing professionally for 30 years.
Wow.
The last real job I had was as a psychiatric attendant at the Madison State Hospital.
Perfect.
And never looked back.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. And I bet that the people who were there appreciated your musical skills and talents as well, right?
I had a captive audience, and they were crazy about me over there.
Oh, Rusty, you missed your opportunity to do stand-up, too. Well, I tell you what, I'd love to hear a full tune from you. What have you got for us?
I've got a new tune.
Go ahead, grab some water if
I
you
just
need it,
wrote
too.
this tune.
Okay.
It's a love song for people in love with their cell phones.
Okay, that sounds good for all people in this room who are dying of heat and wanting to call for help. Go for it. Rusty Bladen, musical guest.
Honey, put down your smartphone. Baby, give your thumbs a rest. You got a million friends on Facebook. You got me right here in the flesh. I don't know who you're texting, but if you want to make a real connection, get off of that internet and come and get the real thing. We're going out on the town tonight. I'll order up some chicken wings. I want to hear you sweet talk, baby. Don't want to hear your cell phone ring. Well, I know you'll feel much better if you'd only let me tweet your Twitter. Get off of that internet. Come and get the real thing. Well, this world is going crazy. People texting way too much. I'm not dumb, I'm not lazy. I just need a little human touch. Honey, turn out the light. Come and snuggle up right here. You're looking good and the time is right. Wait a minute, what's that I hear? OMG, WTF, LOL, you're my BFF now. Get off of that internet and come and get the real thing. I said, get off
Bravo, Rusty Bladen. I love that. That gave me the best laugh of the day.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. And how many of us have been accused of being addicted to electronics?
Oh,
Caroline.
I am positive that my boyfriend somehow inspired that song.
That is
If he
so
could have
cute.
written that himself, directed at me, he would have.
Too funny. Now, Dr. Robin Della is with you today, and I confused the two organizations. This is a Derby City Dog Rescue Dog, but of course we're representing Slugger City Bully Buddies today.
Yes, because Slugger City Bully Buddies is a nonprofit organization, but we're an advocacy group. We're not actually a rescue that pulls dogs to foster, but we work with and in conjunction with rescues who do. We work in conjunction with Louisville Metro Animal Services.
Yes, you do. A lot.
Quite often, Derby City Dog Rescue, Tyson's Chance.
Yes. Who we had on last week.
Yes. Yep. So actually, when this dog was found on the side of the road with her buddy in very bad shape, a fan of Slugger City Bully Buddies contacted us immediately on Facebook, said she had taken them and wanted to know if we could help and what we could do. And even though we're not a rescue, we jumped in. And we had her take them to Breckenridge Animal Hospital, where Dr. Della works as a vet, to evaluate them, and they were in really bad shape. So we immediately started reaching out to all of our contacts to see if we could get a rescue to help us and basically commit to them so we could get them the care that they needed.
And did Derby City come forward?
They did.
Thank God.
And it turned out that her companion that she was found with, his name is Tyrion. They're both Staffordshire Terriers, so they're shorter in stature. It looks like he was most likely used as a bait dog in fighting.
Oh, my gosh.
He had a severe abscess on the side of his face. It was very swollen. This is Shay. She was in a little bit better shape, but she still needed some care, too. She was a little bit underweight.
She has a big scar on her nose as well.
And which is
had to
most
be
likely
humanly
human inflicted.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Tyrion, as usually happens with these dogs who are mistreated and neglected, he tested positive for heartworm. So then we knew that whatever rescue took them on, they were going to be facing, more costs than usual because the heartworm treatment is expensive.
Yes.
So we immediately went into action trying to fundraise to cover Tyrion's heartworm treatment and just the regular vetting of these two, getting them spayed and neutered because, of course, they were not fixed.
Yes, of course.
Which is the number one problem out there with all animals and especially pit bulls.
Well, Caroline, you're an attorney by day and an animal advocacy and rescuer by night.
Well, I think I'm both.
You are both.
Day and night.
Day and night is right.
So that's why his, Facebook song is so perfect for me because
Yes.
I use Facebook in my regular life, but also it's essential to helping animals and rescuing animals. And so I can't get away from it because I'm always getting, we're always getting requests via Facebook to help with a
Yes.
situation.
Well, you and Rebecca Eves and so many other of the animal rescuers in this town are so appreciated by all of us, and we thank you for your dedication. And I'd love to talk to Dr. Robin Della for a few moments because, first of all, you're doing what I have observed as clicker training. So talk to me a little bit about what you're doing with Shay. And obviously it's worked because she is so beautifully socialized and behaved. She's just been kissing on everybody.
Yes. So Slugger City Bully Buddies focuses on positive reinforcement training, and the clicker is just a part of the tools that we use. We also use a lot of no-pull harnesses. Sometimes if it's a big dog who's a little bit stronger than what a no-pull harness can handle for the owners, we'll fit them with a head halter. But basically what the clicker does, without me saying a word, it tells her that that's what I want her to do. So
you're actually clicking before you give her a treat.
Yes.
To let her know she's doing an appropriate behavior.
Correct.
And then you're rewarding her.
Yes.
Awesome. And then she's
reward
totally
always
ears
follows.
up. Look at that. She's right on that with you.
Correct. And at home, we practice, relaxed behavior. So I have a clicker on me a lot of times. We've got 6 dogs in the house, and they need to be rewarded when they lay down and relax versus romping around. So
Absolutely.
she's very adept to just coming into a place, sitting or laying down. Eventually, she'll get tired enough and lay down.
Where did
and
you
she'll
go?
get
Where
rewarded
did you
for
go
that.
to vet school?
I finished up at North Carolina State University, but
Wonderful.
I started out in England, actually, at the
you?
University of London.
And how different is veterinary training in the British Isles?
It's interesting. Kids come out of high school, basically their A-levels, and they go into vet school at 18 or 19 of age.
Amazing.
Years of age, instead of going through an undergraduate degree. So, and theirs is a 5-year kind of undergraduate program.
Yes.
So
So your
it was-
training was extensive, needless to say. And how did that apply to Tyrion and Shay? What did you have to do to these dogs when they came in off the street?
Well, I did the initial basic evals and medical care before, because we didn't have an initial rescue commitment, so we just needed to stabilize Tyrion. So we ran some blood work on him, did some basic testing, got him on antibiotics. His head was about 3 times the size it should have been on
Oh,
his
dear
right
God.
side. And initially I was worried that he had some bone abscess and infection, but
yes.
x-rays showed that it was all soft tissue, so that was great. His biggest health issue was his heartworm disease, which we got covered by some donations
Wonderful.
by some local fans. So
Well, and that's one of the biggest challenges, Caroline, that you face every single day is these vets, and there are so many of them who contribute a lot of services or give reduced rates, especially to rescue organizations. But, what they say, a lawyer's time is his stock in trade. Same with a vet. Everybody has to be compensated for the work that they do. And so that's the plea when you come on radio or television to ask people to step up, and even if it's $1 for each dog that they see, it's a wonderful investment.
Well, and for donations to help with that, especially heartworm treatment, which can run up to $500.
Amazing.
And it should be noted that when they first came in, because we did not have a rescue commitment initially, I just wanted to point out that Dr. Robin Della herself paid for some of the antibiotics and the blood tests for these dogs out
Thank
of her
you,
own
Dr.
pocket
Della.
until we could, garner all of our fans and all of our friends to help support the treatment of these 2 dogs.
And Slugger City, I'm just saying silly. Slugger
It's okay.
City
They are
Bully
silly
Buddies.
dogs.
They are silly. Slugger City Bully Buddies has a huge Facebook presence. You guys have really developed a following, as have many of the people who rescue dogs in this town. But you guys seem to have really capitalized on the whole concept of saving the bully breeds, and they're the toughest ones. I mean, I was talking to Ashley from Tyson's Chance, and she takes in dogs, and sometimes she's got them for 8 to 10 months because people are afraid. And unfortunately, that's what happened to Tyrion. Tell us about that story of the bounce. Go ahead, Dr. Della. You can do it. Caroline's used to talking.
all right. Well, Tyrion's an awesome dog. I mean, even through all of his medical issues, when his face was incredibly sore, we
Yes.
never once got, even a grumble out of him. Now she's grumbling at me. 'Cause
She is.
She wants treats.
to her.
Yeah.
She's being insistent now.
She's practicing her good behavior.
Shay,
and she
you better
wants
be quiet or
sit.
you're not going to get clipped.
Good girl.
Good
So he had a person who became interested in him. Adoption application was put in, and this was a couple-month process because actually when she first met him, she did not live in a home. She lived in an
Right.
apartment. So she ended up purchasing a house, and everything went through. He went on his home visit. And then her family told her that they were uncomfortable with her having that type of dog in the house.
And that was just 4 hours into.
Yes, 4 hours into his new home, and
Oh,
he
man.
lost it.
He never even got a chance just because of
The family members never met
misconceptions.
him, but they had preconceived misconceptions that these dogs are horrible monsters.
Yes.
Shay,
You can see
you're
that,
a horrible
obviously.
monster.
She's a horrible monster. Yes,
Very
she
vicious.
is.
She's a cookie monster.
Yeah, I bet she is.
But,
Well, and that is an educational effort that we all make to, and that's the reason that Crescent Hill Radio is so generous with its time, and thanks to Kathy Weisbach to bring the message via the animal rescues that any dog is fully capable of love and affection and being adopted, and it's what humans have done to these dogs, especially to specific breeds, that is such an injustice, Caroline.
And every dog needs a compassionate owner, and every dog needs training,
Yes.
regardless of the breed.
Yes.
And we advocate for force-free, positive-based training, and we firmly believe that every single dog needs that, whether you have a Chihuahua or a Pit Bull or a Staffordshire Terrier. It doesn't matter. They all need an educated, compassionate owner who will commit to training them.
And I know that a lot of the organizations offer those types of classes, which are available widely. So all you have to do is really cruise Facebook, look on the internet for that type of class, which is very positive reinforcement.
And in fact, Slugger City Bully Buddies does offer free weekly training classes for bully breed type dogs.
Wonderful.
And we've been we've been getting a lot of people
Yes.
coming to those classes lately, and we've been trying to encourage people to foster for LMAS or some of these other rescue groups and bring their foster dog
Yes.
to those classes to get the dog up to speed so that they're more ready to go into a home because they've already had some basic training.
And when is that class offered? Because I'm looking at your Slugger City Bully Buddies website right now. When is the class that is? It's
on-
okay, Shay. It's okay, Shay.
Just hacking up a treat. It's on a Wednesday nights.
Wednesday nights.
And it's a sign-up base. We do rolling admission, so it's not a big deal if,
Is
not
that
like
the
you miss any-
AKC Canine Good Citizen Preparation classes or something
we
different?
do prepare for that, but we changed it a little bit because
Bully Breeds 101.
we have a lot of dogs who come in that are unprepared for,
Yes.
or not anywhere near being able to take a CGC class. They need to learn how to sit and greet a person.
Yes.
And
not
basic
not
behaviors.
demand food too, Shay. SluggerCityBullyBuddies.org is the website. There's a huge presence on Facebook as well. And you just mentioned fostering for LMAS. We are without a director at the moment. I know that the rest of the team is doing a great job guiding the ship through the unsteady water of not having a director in place right now. But I'm sure that someone is going to be coming in, and we hope with the same vision that we all have for No Kill Society in Louisville. And in the meantime, the fostering must continue. And without a direct head of a person, talking at you on the television, it's easy to forget. Louisville Metro Animal Services takes in tons and tons of strays, given up pets, animals that need to be rescued. And you guys are doing a great job in getting the word out about fostering.
And they're very full of pit bulls right now, as happens every summer and every month. And even without a director in place, we worked in conjunction with some of the employees. We worked very hard to network a dog named Angelo that was at LMAS. A adoption application had fallen through when he was worked up in vet care, and they found out that he had heartworm.
Oh, man.
And so then the adopter was facing the significant expense of the heartworm treatment upon adopting the dog. So that fell through, and I personally was desperate to save him. I had met this dog. I had named him. I loved him.
Angelo.
It's from James Bond.
I love it.
So we worked really hard, and we actually found somebody to foster him at our Bullies in Chrome event at Harley Davidson.
Oh, good.
Which we thank them very much for letting us
Yes.
have that there.
It's a great event.
She is fostering him for LMAS, and we have raised the funds for his heartworm treatment through a photo contest that we're doing
Bravo.
on Facebook. Our June photo contest was Pit Bulls and their dads.
Oh,
and our July contest coming up is America's Dogs, and it's featuring patriotic pit bulls.
Oh, I
So
love that. Perfect.
if you have a bully breed dog, dress it up in your best 4th of July gear and take a picture and send it to us, and send your $2 payment via PayPal to info@sluggercitybullyBuddies.org.
Good.
And you can help us continue to fundraise. The July fundraiser is going to benefit Tyson's Chance.
Wonderful. Now, are you going to come to the 4th of July celebration at Crescent Hill
I will definitely try.
and bring one of the bullies? Because, we have a pet show that's famous.
Oh,
it's grown year after year, and I am grateful to be able to MC the pet show. And it is just too funny because we have every imaginable type of dog. We have, contests for attire, so they're very patriotic, red, white, and blue, and best trick, best story. All kinds of wonderful opportunities to show off your pet. And if you've got somebody like Shay to show off, who's being such a good girl, she's getting clicked, and getting lots of treats. We want to also just give you, Robin Della, a moment. Dr. Della, give us the address and telephone number of your hospital.
Sure. I work at Breckenridge Animal Hospital, which is on the corner of 6 Mile and Breckenridge Lane. It's 3451 Breckenridge, Shay. And the phone number is 502-491-5800.
So a great veterinary hospital as well as a generous one. And thank you so much for the time that you give to saving and helping these incredible dogs. And Caroline, I love having you in because you always have so many good things to say. Will you come back in a couple of weeks and talk to us again?
Absolutely. Anytime you want me, I
We
will come.
sure appreciate you. And Slugger City Bully Buddies with a Derby City Dog Rescue dog. Shay is available for adoption.
Is available for adoption, and she's still in
going to
foster
be hard
care.
to let go, but
She's precious.
She is available.
She sat up there on your lap on the couch outside waiting for somebody to come up and greet her, and she's really been a very good girl. So thank you, Shay. Thank you, Shay.
And
Listen to Dr. Della.
Shay often hangs out at Breckenridge Animal Hospital with Dr. Della. So
I'm
if you
assuming
want to stop by and see
You're
her, you
fostering
can.
her,
Yes,
right?
she
She's
is
one
my
of the
foster
6 in the
dog.
house.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
she's number 6.
Thank you both so much for coming in. Caroline Kaufman of Slugger City Bully Buddies, Dr. Robin Della of Breckenridge Animal Hospital. We'll see you back in a few weeks to talk more about the rescue efforts going on, and thank you for your time. Bye, Shay. Love you, Shay.
Thank you.
We also want to thank Linda Herrick Hillenbrand for her sponsorship of Take It From Tara on Crescent Hill Radio. Great fundraiser for leukemia and lymphoma. We have so many great causes, some human, some canine, some other. But Linda has done a great job, and we'd like to thank her company, ABC Security, for their sponsorship of this show. Bye, Shay. Week campaign to raise funds to help find cures for blood cancers. Candidates like Linda Herrick Hillenbrand utilize their leadership abilities and resources to conduct their own fundraising campaigns. And Linda won the Champions Award this year for her efforts. Monies raised help the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society fund blood cancer research and provide education and support services for patients and their families. LLS.org/KY for more information, 584-8490. Thank you to ABC Security's Linda and Jim Hillenbrand for their efforts to fight leukemia and lymphoma. The transitions between segments on this show are always fun because we had to get a picture of the bully before she left, and she was just precious. And now we're going to hear from you, Mr. Bladen. What would you like to play for us this time?
It's another new one. I'm picking all the new stuff because I've got a new album coming out this fall.
Excellent.
And this one's called My Best Kept Secret.
All right, Rusty Bladen from Madison, Indiana.
I should have told you a long time ago. I should have said what I wanted you to know. But my fear of failure stood in my way. So my best kept secret was my worst mistake. I didn't go to college, didn't have a clue. I just sat around making up songs about you. Hung around the pool hall waiting for a break. Yeah, my best kept secret was my worst mistake. Hey, hey, hey. I never found trouble, trouble found me. Got kicked out of my family tree. Came to my senses a little too late. So my best kept secret was my worst mistake. My best kept secret was my worst mistake. Don't give up your dreams. Shine a light in the dark. Well, you never get lost when you follow your heart. Just follow your heart now. Saw your picture in the paper just the other day. You were standing at the altar with another man's name. Now I lost in love when I left it up to fate. My best kept secret was my worst mistake. My best kept secret was my worst mistake. My best kept secret was my worst mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so
Thank
much. Best kept secret was your worst mistake and addicted to electronics. You got some issues happening, man.
Well, at least I get songs out of them.
That's right. That's what they say. Isn't country music just a constant songwriting out of despair kind of thing?
They say it's just 3 chords and the truth. I know 3 chords.
That's pretty good. I like that. Rusty Bladen from Madison, Indiana. Thanks for being our musical guest tonight. More from him in just a moment. Susan Dallas, the face of the Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, I don't know about that.
Or the voice in this case. The voice
yes,
and the
yes.
face. It's so nice to have you.
Happy to be here.
Oh, gosh, it's been
exciting.
a while.
I love watching all this, following the dog. I don't know.
Was she not just adorable?
She's adorable.
That is Shay from Slugger City Bully Buddies and Derby City
She's
Dog
a cutie
Rescue.
and
Yeah.
so loving, yeah.
And, you think about a vet who's got 6 dogs in the house.
I can't
at least one of
imagine.
which is a foster.
I have one cat, and that's enough.
We're all a little crazy. I've
Mm-hmm.
got 3 dogs of my own, but 5, 6, we're starting to get up there
And
into
big dogs.
and not easy dogs
Yeah.
necessarily. But Shay is beautiful.
She's a sweetie, yes.
So what's your cat's name?
Gilbert.
I love it.
Yes.
Do you have a Sullivan too? By any
I
chance?
don't. Maybe I need to get a
If
Sullivan.
you ever adopt a second one.
Right.
So what's happening at the Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau right
Lots
now?
of happening. We're the #1 destination on Lonely Planet site this year, #1 in the country. So,
Isn't that
and we're
amazing?
talking about bourbon, and bourbon's it right now. Yes.
Well, and I have a suggestion for another thing that you can talk about, and you
Okay.
happen to be in the right place tonight because coming up after you, I
Okay.
have Marina Durbin, who is the honesty coach, but she
Okay.
and her
I'm
partner,
interested in that, the
Mark
honesty
Baroni,
coach.
are also doing an act of dog.
Okay.
And so we need to get together and brainstorm about
Okay.
how we can find a permanent space in this city in a museum setting
Okay.
to build this museum of 5,500 paintings of dogs who have died,
Oh,
which happens every day.
5,500 dogs die.
5,500 dogs
A day?
conservatively are put to death in our shelters every day, and double that number of cats. And somehow the city of Louisville,
sad.
it is, it's heartbreaking, but
It
they're
is.
painting these dogs as a reminder, as we did the Holocaust,
Okay.
to build the Holocaust Museum so it never would happen again. And you have connections, and you have thoughts, and you're going to brainstorm
I'm
with us.
thinking Nulu.
Yeah.
Because that's the place where everybody's going right now.
I tell you what, so we got to talk about that some more. But what
Okay.
else? What else about Louisville Convention Visitors Bureau is top of the mind right now? Because the Bourbon Trail, of course, is huge.
Another great event that's coming up, the Belle of Louisville, who I can remember as long as I've lived here all my
course.
life. She's going to be 100 years old next year.
Man.
She's the oldest operating steamboat in existence today, and she's going to celebrate her centennial, I think,
she's in
next
great
year.
shape.
She's in great shape. My mother is 86 years old, and she had her senior prom on the Belle. So
Is that not adorable?
Yes,
What
and-
memories?
Yes, and there's going to be a huge week-long party next October in 2014 where there's going to be 7 other steamboats coming to town, and it's going to be a big old
birthday party.
A birthday
It's a
party.
sleepover.
A big old birthday party. You can take bourbon cruises, wine cruises, lunch cruises,
man.
dinner cruises. Yes.
I love that.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
So, besides the Belle of Louisville and the Bourbon Trail, there is a lot going on in downtown. And of course, we're always talking about bridges, and we're always talking about connecting. That pedestrian bridge
It's been a huge hit.
is
yes.
a huge hit, and I'm just sorry that the first few people were inconsiderate enough to not pick up after their
I'm
dogs.
so
because
sorry.
It would be so nice to be able to
Right.
walk them. Do you have any clue as to when Indiana's going to get the hint that they need to open up the other end?
They're
we don't
working
get-
on it.
we
They're
don't
working
get
on
boxed
it.
in over there.
I've been told now August. So
Oh,
we'll keep our
man.
fingers crossed.
Hurry it up.
Right.
That's a great way to socialize.
It's
though.
great. I mean, and it's been so popular. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So go and, walk over it, see how beautiful the city is, and see lots of people because it is the place to be right now.
It is, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where everybody's going weeknights, weekdays, weekends. I know that you guys are responsible for attracting a tremendous number of visitors.
We
to
work on
Louisville.
it, yes.
What do you do to get people to come to Louisville to have their conventions, have their meetings, set up business here, just spend time leisurely?
Well, it's a really competitive business.
Yes, it is.
So what a city really has to focus on is what's unique to the city.
Yes.
And Louisville does have a lot of unique things. I hate to keep bringing up the bourbon, but 95% of the world's bourbon is made in Kentucky, and Louisville's very fortunate. Right now, we do not have a distillery that's actually open to the public to tour, but that will change in October of this year.
What's going to open up?
The Evan Williams Experience is going to open on Main Street, across the street from the Kentucky Center for the Arts, and it's going to be an actual distillery that the visitors can tour, and it's going to be the first distillery open on Whiskey Row since Prohibition.
And I'll tell you what else it's going to be, because I was fortunate enough to be in on the production shoot that Kay Milam did to
Okay.
produce the video, the movie that's going to be playing in the Evan
Oh,
Williams
very cool.
Bourbon Experience.
Well, you're
And
ahead of the curve here.
they-
I'm not even familiar with that.
They recreated the town hall and the wharf
Mm-hmm.
of Louisville from the mid 1700s, and what an incredible experience! It was all shot at Production Commons out in J-Town
Oh,
on a green
great.
wall, and they physically built the studio and the wharf and all these other things, and it was the most incredible.
It's going to be
experience.
great. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So, just watch the
Multi-million-dollar
paper and go to our
experience.
website. I don't have an exact date in October yet, but we've been told October of this year. So
Yeah, well, that's incredible. The Evan William Bourbon Experience, and
Yes.
that's Evan Williams is going to be on Main Street.
Yes.
In the Iron Quarter.
yes,
Literally Whiskey Row, and it's
Right.
going to be a great tourist attraction.
yes, it is.
As far as the waterfront, always activity, always
Always.
fun, always things happening on the
Always.
waterfront. Any big events that are coming up that we can, kind of think about in terms of getting people to come to Louisville for waterfront festivities?
Well, the Independence Festival will be July 4th week. Well,
Yes.
that's actually on a Thursday. That'll be 2 days, and it's free, open to the public.
So nice.
I'm not
What's
Cool
your-
in the Gang, I think.
Cool in
is-
the Gang. Oh, there's
I
some of
could
my
be-
favorites.
Don't hold me to that. I think that's what I read.
What was your background before you came to Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau? I'm just curious.
I've worked at a front desk of a hotel. I worked at a sales department in a hotel. I actually fell into this job totally by accident. When I was going to school, I never knew this kind of job existed, but it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And you happen to have some famous relatives who I was privileged to meet, let's see, I think a year or two ago over at Lynn's Paradise Cafe.
Oh, yes.
You came in with Josh Dallas and Jennifer Goodwin, and I think they're
Right.
both from Once Upon a Time. They're the
Yes.
star-crossed lovers or
Yes,
whatever.
Prince Charming and Snow White.
How
Josh
cute.
is my nephew.
Oh, how
Yes.
cute.
And he's living the dream right now. I tell him he's very fortunate. He's always wanted to be an actor. He's always made his living from that. And he's just been very lucky. He's on a very successful series right now.
Yes, he is.
And the most beautiful thing, it hasn't gone to his head yet. So.
Well, and I was just going to comment the fact that your aunt work must have been a very good job, because he and the young woman who was with were both extremely
They are very nice.
friendly and open and outgoing, and totally used to being with thousands of people
Yes.
coming up and saying, "Hey, can I have a picture taken with you?"
He was in town 2 weeks ago, and I asked him to come to the office because everybody's like, I'd love to meet him. I'd love
Yes,
to
of
meet him.
course.
And it was such a treat for me to watch people react to him.
Yes.
Because, I've known him all my life, but
That
he
is
was
so
so
cute.
gracious and he was so sweet. So
Well, put in
he is a Prince Charming.
Put in a good word for us, because I've got some local filmmakers who are about ready to shoot a film, and
Okay.
they would love his
I've been
participation.
talking to them.
Have
Yes,
you? Good.
yes.
That's
So,
awesome. So it's not a secret. It's called breathofheavenmovie.com, and he's one of the many folks that we would love to have involved. Catherine Furrow and Herschel Zond making that film. And it seems that Kentucky and Indiana are becoming more centralized for filmmaking adventure and television as well. I mean, some shows have shot here, some reality shows, of course,
Right.
have come here, which is why we got Will Heiser on Big Brother. But it seems to be becoming more and more of a movie-oriented destination. Are you getting requests through the Convention and Visitors Bureau?
We don't. There's a film office in Frankfurt.
The Film Commission.
They deal with everything, yes.
Yeah, but you have to put all these people up when they get here and tell them where to go to
Right,
hotels and everything
right.
else. If someone wanted to reach out to you at the Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau, how would they do so? Do you have web presence, Facebook presence?
Our website is gotolouisville.com.
Oh, that's
and you
cute.
can- yes, that's easy. Gotolouisville.com.
I love that.
Just go on there, or you can also go to justaddbourbon.com to find out all the
course.
bourbon.
How
Right.
silly
We're all
of
about
me.
Just Add Bourbon. But go to Louisville.com. We have a calendar of events. Anything you need to know about Louisville, you'll find it there.
I think that's fantastic. And thank you for taking the time. I'm going to invite you, if you'd like, if you're interested in the Radical Honesty, stay and sit in with us.
Sure, I'm
because
very interested. Radical Honesty.
Marina
I think.
is fantastic, and she's going to be coming up next to talk to us about basically challenging our integrity and what our perception of the truth is, because Radical
Okay.
Honesty teaches that we learn to lie, and we learn to lie well, and then we spend the rest of our lives putting up with our lying selves. So, Marina,
I love that.
Marina's here to explain just a little bit of that, and also talk about an act of dog. Rusty, can you fill the space for about 2 or 3 minutes until we can get the reset here of the guests? What are you
love
going to do
to.
for us?
I call this my coffee song.
Oh, no.
It has nothing to do with coffee.
Has nothing to do with. I was going to just say, does it have anything to do with brewing the stuff? Love to hear it. What is it?
It's called the coffee song.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Rusty Bladen.
7 years in a factory, one paycheck from poverty. Nobody pays much mind to me. I just blend in with the scenery. Sometimes I feel like something's wrong. Been hanging around myself too long. Sit at home, I watch TV, curse the news and the magazines about all that fighting in the Middle East and the rising cost of gasoline. But I don't let it get me down. When the morning comes around, I just want a warm cup of coffee and somebody to sit beside me. I just need a warm cup of coffee. I don't want to be angry, just want to be happy. Well, there ain't much opportunity in a dysfunctional family, so I got my very first degree from Hard Knock University. I'm a streetwise educated man. There's one thing I don't understand. From the small towns to the city streets, there's too much crime and too much greed. And when a killer's caught by the state police, in a couple years they just set him free. I'm an ordinary peaceful guy, but I think they should hang him high. I just want a warm cup of coffee and somebody to sit beside me. I just need a warm cup of coffee. I don't want to be angry, just want to be happy. Yeah, this world is sometimes cruel and cold. That's just the way it is. I ain't looking for no pot of gold, just a temporary fix. I need a temporary kiss. Well, I just want a warm cup of coffee and somebody to sit beside me. I just need a warm cup of coffee. I don't want to be angry, just want to be happy. Thank you.
Wonderful coffee song. I love it. Was that dedicated to Heine Brothers on Frankfort Avenue?
It was.
That's awesome.
How'd
I
you
love
guess?
That. Well, because they're one of our favorite people here at Crescent Hill Radio, and that's where most of us go to get coffee, and we also send people to get coffee there. So thank you, Heine Brothers. Nancy's Bagels is also another alternative on Frankfort Avenue.
Well, I'll stop there on the way home.
Yeah, we like to promote our, yes, do that. Now, Nancy's is closed, but Heine Brothers is open. So that's where you can get your coffee for that long drive back to Madison. Rusty Bladen, we'll be hearing more from him in just a moment. Now we have a wonderful opportunity to challenge our integrity and to see how big of a lie we actually live. And Susan, God bless her, has agreed to stay in the mix, which will be fun. She's probably terrified at the moment. No. You're used to it. You're dealing
it's
with
going to be fun.
it really it's more eye-opening than it is fun.
Okay.
I can't really tell you that it's fun because you have to, well, you can laugh a lot, but you really have to get past Marina to do it. And she is an absolutely incredible honesty coach, and that's why she's here. Marina Dervin, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the fantastic singer over there.
Isn't he great?
Beautiful voice, beautiful music. Thank you.
He is.
Appreciate
He's
it.
fun.
Yeah, really cool.
And Susan, of course, Susan Dallas is with the Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I actually just thought it would be fun, since you said you wanted to hang around, to throw you into the mix. Marina's going to start with just a basic explanation of the concept of radical honesty, and then we're also going to talk about An Active Dog, which she and her partner, Mark Baroni, are involved in, and you and I talked about. So, Marina, let's just start out with a basic sketch. The book, Radical Honesty, something I'm reading, trying to comprehend through my muddled brain. It's quite an amazing concept. It tells us we've been lying since we were born.
Yes, we have. We're conditioned to lie from a very early age. You learn when you're very young that when you tell the truth, you get punished, you get sent to your room, you get beat, depending upon your environment.
Grounded.
Something. But you're not encouraged to tell the truth. So we learn very early on to hide what we're really thinking, the dialogue, and what we're really feeling. And I think children are a beautiful example of, at a certain age, you watch children in a playground, and what they do is you'll see the kids, they're playing together, having a great time, then they get mad at each other, and then they're mad, and then they're crying, and then they're hugging each other 2 minutes later. And the reason why is because children are still experiencing their experience. Their mind has not come in and messed with their ability to feel their way through something. Not think your way through, but to actually allow yourself to have the emotions fully and not come in at a certain age. Kids then become infected with the adult version. And so we tell them that's a bad emotion and that's a good one. And so you stifle it. And then what happens is you learn, okay, anger's bad. And so that's probably, for me, the key one that I help people focus on, because what we do is when we don't speak it out, we act it out. And we act that anger out in covert, passive-aggressive ways, or we turn it inwards on ourselves. We punish people. You also, you sleep it off, you eat it off, you sex it off, you shop it off. You do every other thing other than experience what you're feeling, so you can get mad and get over it with the person and get back to loving. So radical honesty is, that's not what that's at the core of what I teach.
Yes.
But I've coached executives for over 20 years and couples in how to navigate through the deluge of human emotions.
Yes.
And what I teach people is the anatomy of an upset. If you know how you got in, you can get out real fast. And that understanding that all conflict is the result of an unmet need. And so if I'm interested in understanding, and if I care about you enough, I want to know what your unmet need is. So I'll be willing to actually listen to you to find out how I can be there for you with that unmet need and vice versa. But in order to do that, what this work teaches people to do is to quit the performance and to start relating. And then you're going to have real intimacy. And so we can get into all kinds of layers of that. So
Susan
I'll
and
take a
I
pause.
are your guinea pigs at this moment. What kind of role play would you have us do if we were having a conflict? Let's say we have a business arrangement, it falls through, we're furious at each other, we don't know exactly how to handle it. What would we do?
Well, the first thing that this system really teaches people to do is to come out of the categories. Like when you're, can I say the word pissed off? I just did.
Of course, you
Well,
can.
there you go.
Too late.
So in British, Irish makes it even worse. So, when you're mad at someone, what we tend to do is categorize someone.
Let me just stop you right
Go
now.
ahead.
Don't say the other word.
I won't say the other word.
Yeah, we don't say that word.
P is good.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, we categorize. And so we say, oh, you're really insensitive, or you're an a-hole, or you're whatever it is, we
Name calling.
categorize. Right. But they're categories. You can't get over a category. You can't connect to what you really are feeling about that person. So the first thing I'd have you do is identify what it is. So if I asked you, what are you mad at her for? Well, she just doesn't care about me. You see how that's this very general, I call it a suitcase term, because you have no idea what it means until you take it out of the suitcase and you lay it out. So I would say to you specifically, what did she do or what did she say that had you conclude that? So you can identify what you resent her for.
So I screwed up your business deal terrifically, and I jeopardized your career and your reputation in Louisville. So what would you say that you were angry at me for?
You screwed up my reputation.
But you can't do it. You can't do it. You're fabricating something, and it's not going to work here.
See, that's how it works.
It's
You
like
have
you're
to
pretending.
be so specific.
You're pretending.
Yeah.
We would be pretending, which
Yeah.
is the opposite of what I teach people to do. And so you just deal with real issues, and you, instead of getting caught up in the story of, well, you're this and you did that, and we get caught up in this whole soap opera, rather than identify telling the other person what they did or what they said.
Yes.
And in order to do that, you have to pay attention and be the noticer. So I noticed when you came in the room and you went to your room and you didn't say anything to me. I made it mean that you're mad at me.
Yes.
Do you see the difference?
Gotcha.
But most of the time we don't have that discernment. We just collapse it into one going, oh, you just don't care about me. I know you just ignored me. Doesn't mean that at all. But that meaning that I give myself perpetuates and generates, first of all, my emotion, which is my anger or my sadness or my shame, whatever it is. And then I'm going to act on that because I believe I'm right, rather than check it out and go, hey, I noticed you walked in and went to your room. My mind's making the meaning, you're mad at me. Is that true? Now we can actually have a dialogue and find out what's going on.
And then I would say, no, I'm not mad at you, Susan. I just had to get to my office, even though I did screw up your business deal, ruin your career, and make everything bad for you.
Or you say, yes, I am mad, and I'm struggling to come to you and talk to you about it, and I really would like to talk to you about what I'm mad at you for, so I don't punish you and act it out like I just did.
Exactly,
covertly.
exactly.
So now we can get back to, instead of performing in front of each other, that's what we're conditioned to do. We are conditioned to perform, to be who we think everybody wants us to be, so they'll like us, so they'll love us, and it's exhausting.
Yes.
And you spend your whole life in anxiety, depression, because you can't take in the love and approval that you think you're getting for you. It's not for you. It's for the you you're pretending to be.
Isn't that amazing?
So it's exhausting to go through your life like that. And it's so freeing to just find people in your life. And so what I say to people is I say, pick someone you're close to, a girlfriend, a guy, whatever it is, that you can say, hey, for 1 month, let's commit to telling the truth to each other.
About everything?
What we're thinking, what we're feeling, our secrets, what we're terrified to tell, that the world, if the world knew this about me, they would never love me, they'd reject me, whatever it is. But do it with someone safe and practice. And what you'll discover is you have greater intimacy with that person, and you'll never go back to how you were before.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
And you've given suggestions, I know, of how to play games that kind of show people where they are. And one of those things was the I'm pretending, which is the
Right.
whole root of what you're teaching.
That's
is
right.
Stop pretending and stop
Exactly.
performing.
Exactly. And you know what we do is when somebody asks you something, we do what I call the rehearsal before the performance. We edit our response.
Immediately in your head.
We're immediately editing rather than telling them what's going on in here, what's going on up here. So what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what I'm sensing in my body. If we were willing to just report that, then we actually would be authentically relating. And we would, but we're conditioned to be nice instead of real.
How many people are you nice to every day that you really don't want to be nice to, Susan?
A lot. I mean,
Totally.
I mean, have to spend time with people that I'd really rather not spend time. Mm-hmm. But the older I've gotten, I'm sure I'm not where I need to be, but I do. And it happened after my father died. I realized right then that there was
Life's short.
right. And that, there were certain people in my life I just did not want to spend time with because
good.
I was
Good for
spending a
you.
lot more time, saying yes to things I did not want to do.
Right.
But that's hard to do.
You would in compliance.
Right.
But ultimately, compliance breeds contempt. Because you
It
see, you ended up
does.
resenting them.
Absolutely.
Because you weren't taking care of your needs.
Right.
You were
So,
abandoning yourself
it's a
in order to
process.
get their approval, which you can't get anyway because it wasn't for you.
Right.
It was for the you were
Which I
pretending
didn't
to
really,
be.
if I really looked at it, I didn't care if they approved of me or not.
Right. It can be just
Right.
habitual.
Right.
It's like when you go into a store, oh, how are you? I'm fine. It's the worst thing to say. I don't ever say, how are you? It's like, how's it going? How's your day going? You'll always get an honest answer. They'll go,
Terrible.
it's okay.
Wonderful.
But you'll get a little few seconds of authenticity.
Yes.
And they're relieved to be able to tell you that. They're relieved to say, well, it's okay, but I'm going to be off in another hour. And I go, great, what are you going to do? And it doesn't take more than a few minutes to have a real connection with a human being and show that you actually are interested rather than this BS term of, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. Why are we all pretending we're fine?
Give us a quick example of the I'm pretending exercise.
Okay, so this you can do at home.
We
with
want to
your
play this.
You can do this with your family and friends, people that are willing. And it's very revealing. And what it reveals is how similar we are and how we're all doing it and our
Yes.
humanness. And it allows compassion and understanding.
Okay.
So here we go. So I'll start. No, shall I start?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, I'll start. Okay, so I'm going to start with you.
Great.
And you just say thank you to me.
Okay.
Okay, and then you turn to a friend over here. And you
Rusty's
say
going to
him.
play too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right. So let's see. Okay. So sometimes I pretend that I'm much stronger than I am.
Thank you. So now I say.
So now you tell him something that you pretend.
Sometimes I pretend that I'm much more interested in someone than I am.
And now,
You say thank you
thank you.
and tell me something that you pretend.
Oh, sometimes I pretend I'm happy when I'm not really.
Totally get that. Thank you. Sometimes I pretend that I'm much more capable than I am. Or than I feel. Not necessarily than I am, because I know I'm capable, but sometimes I pretend I'm more capable than I feel.
Got it.
That's pretty cool. That's a great practice.
Yeah.
Small group, small party.
We're not done yet. We're having one more.
Oh, do one more.
One more.
Go, Marina.
So let's see. Sometimes I pretend that I'm listening to the person, and in fact, my mind has drifted off.
Thank you. Sometimes I agree with someone.
So what do you pretend? So sometimes I pretend.
Sometimes I pretend that I'm in agreement with someone when I'm not.
Ooh. That's common, I bet.
Well, you know what? I have to agree because sometimes I pretend I'm listening to someone and I'm not. That's the only thing I could come up with right now.
Thank you. And the response is always going to be out of the ordinary because you really didn't hear what anybody had to say.
Sometimes.
And sometimes when you're telling me what I'm actually saying, I'm surprised because I've been pretending to make sense and I really haven't because I'm not saying what's actually true. I'm making up editing. I'm saying things that I think are right and I'm compromising the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so would you say now, everybody in the room, that usually the fear is that if I tell people this, that I'm going to be embarrassed, I'm going to feel shame, they're not going to like me. But the result is I feel a little bit closer to everybody in the room because it's getting underneath the facade, you know? So there's a little bit more, connection.
I like it.
And listening to everyone, I could identify with all of it.
Exactly. You
Isn't
see
that
yourself
right?
in each other.
Right.
And of course, what we just did very surface things, but you can go down real deep, and it's beautiful.
Fantastic.
Try it.
All right, we're going to take a break real quick here because we need to acknowledge Eternal Health Yoga, which is a fantastic yoga studio right here on Frankfurt Avenue, sponsors of Take It From Tara, where I go to get my yoga mojo on. And when we come back, Rusty's going to give us a quick tune, and then we're going to talk to Marina a little bit about An Active Dog, which is a fantastic memorial art project that is going on. She and her partner, Mark Baroni, are creating it here in Louisville. And we're going to, with the help of Susan Dallas, brainstorm about places that we can put it on permanent display in a museum owned by An Active Dog, a nonprofit 501c3 organization that is supporting the no-kill philosophy and no-kill equation that we would like to have a reality here in Louisville. So thanks to Eternal Health Yoga for their sponsorship. Eternal Health Yoga at 3410 Frankfurt Avenue in Louisville's Crescent Hill is dedicated to sharing the joyful benefits of yoga with you. Teacher Training 200-hour program is certified with the National Yoga Alliance, and classes are offered 7 days a week by certified yoga instructors. Varied class packages available, including the introductory 30 days for $35. All levels welcome. EternalHealthYoga.com online and on Facebook, 502-424-3164. Celebrating 7 years of serving the Louisville, Southern Indiana community. We don't have any sound. There we go. Our musical guest has taken a quick break, and we're going to go ahead with the second half of our interview. But first, I want to ask you, Marina, we can get a hold of you through Facebook, obviously, Marina Dervin, but you have a website of your own. The Honesty Coach?
TheHonestyCoach.com.
Excellent. And you can find out much more about the anatomy of an upset, how to communicate honestly. You can read more about the core basis of radical honesty if you'd like to, which is a book that was written by Dr. Brad Blanton. Also a fascinating study that I'm undertaking a paragraph at a time right now. But it's really interesting. And Susan, I think you'd love to read it too. So as soon as I get done with it, I'm going to loan it to
Okay, I
you.
like that.
Let's talk a little bit about An Active Dog. And we've said it before and we'll say it again. It's the most ambitious art project that I've ever witnessed in this city. It's the painting of 5,500 portraits of dogs killed in shelters every day. And I saw your face when I said that to you, Susan.
The numbers just astound me.
And that's a conservative estimate. There are 11,000 cats that are killed every day, too. And if Mark were painting the dogs and the cats, we would never reach the end of the project. But he chose to paint 5,500 dogs as an example of what we should not be doing and why we need to embrace the no-kill equation. And Marina, give us just a brief summary of this construction phase of an active dog?
Well, Mark
Rusty's back, by the way.
Yo, Rusty.
Yay.
He is at about 3,500. He's painted 3,500 so far.
Wow.
We're at the Melwood Arts Center, who John Clark generously donated the space to an active dog. When we put it out there initially just for production, we had 30 cities offer us the space, and we chose Louisville. And now we're in this phase 2, which is talking to cities and philanthropists who are interested in donating a building to house the project. So it will be a permanent educational center, memorial museum that will raise money and funds forever, long after we're dead and gone. But it would also be, art is a tremendous economic engine for a city, as
Yes, it is.
you know.
Absolutely.
And Mark's background is revitalizing cities, blighted cities, using the arts. He did Paducah, Kentucky. And so this will be a huge tourist attraction, as well as a very wonderful, compassionate cause to raise money to support and usher America to go in the no-kill direction, and it'll be the first and only of its kind in the world, and we have fans from all over the world that can't wait to come and see it. So we're excited and we're open, and I trust that it'll be where it's meant to be.
Well, and Susan, one of the things that I really want to focus on is we've talked to a number of people in this town about the possibility of donating a building, creating a space that would be enormous, that would be able to actually showcase. Can you imagine this? 5,500 paintings. And Marina, we've talked about the fact that if you laid them all out end to end, it'd be 2 football fields long and about 10 to 20 feet high.
10 feet high.
10 feet high. Incredible. All these paintings. Every painting, and you have to see it. You have to come down to the Melwood and see it. Every single painting captures the spirit of that dog. And you guys get those through a lot of different shelters. So tell us about how you identify the people, the dogs that you're painting.
We have lots of people on Facebook, rescue groups, volunteers, fosters that, that know dogs that they weren't able to save. So they send us those dogs and say, hey, we'd love to see this dog live on. We weren't able to save it. Can you make him part of the memorial? Obviously, in the paintings, they're not dead. I mean, they're painted of pictures while they were alive. So that's what we do. So it's a beautiful way to pay homage to these souls and to use art for social change.
And that's what it's
we're
going
doing.
to be. So we will brainstorm if we have a few moments after the show. And also, I'm inviting you to come down to the studio because Mark and Marina love to have guests come in and view an active dog and get the feel for what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And I know with the Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau being adamant about bringing great projects to Louisville, this is one of the ones that you're going to want to keep.
And we've had the mayor in. He's loved it.
Oh, great. Just curious, why did you pick Louisville?
Louisville actually came up when we first thought of we had actually moved to Santa Fe, but Louisville had come up in one of the places that I thought would be nice to live. I knew nothing about the middle of America, so but for some reason it came up, and then when it came back round to us wanting to do a project. Louisville animal laws are really at the bottom of the list and have been for the last 8 years.
Heartbreaking.
Yep. So we thought maybe this would be a good catalyst for change in this town, because you have No Kill Louisville, and you have so many groups here that are doing extraordinary work.
And again, John Clark, God bless him, donated the space for living and working at Melwood Arts.
Yes, and then now we've had Becky Brown, Tammy, and Tabby Conti, and Woo Speed and her husband Colin, who have subsidized us till the end of the year as well. So extraordinarily generosity from these people.
And Susan, we feel like if we can just get the museum up and in action and starting to attract attention, because they're getting national press, Oprah Magazine, National Geographic, so many other magazines, all kinds of media opportunities. But I don't personally want to see them go to another city. That's just my selfish motive for Louisville and for myself. So that's what I'd love to see happen, is find someone who's willing to contribute a building and get this thing built and going now.
I'm happy to help any way I can.
I love that. We're going to have to conclude a good portion of our interview, even though we've got so many more things to say. These two guests are going to come back. I love them. They're wonderful. Susan Dallas from the Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau, Marina Durbin, the Honesty Coach, and an active dog participant with her partner, Mark Baroni, the artist. Want to thank Meridian Acupuncture for their sponsorship of Take It From Tara. Going in for an acupuncture treatment has never been so easy as when Colby Hilton is administering it. And they're in St. Matthews on Wallace Avenue. We want to thank them for their sponsorship of Take It From Tara.
Meridian Acupuncture provides healthcare services to improve and promote the well-being of their patients and the community they serve. Meridian's vision is to educate and empower us to make healthy lifestyle choices, to understand how to heal ourselves, to prevent illness, and to recognize that health is a daily journey. Meridian's practitioners of East Asian medicine specialize in allergies to depression to menopause and much more. Trying to stay healthy, coping with stress, managing serious illness. Meridian Acupuncture is a resource. 311 Wallace Avenue in St. Matthews, 290-8788, meridianlouisville.com.
All right, Rusty's got his microphone, his guitar, and his extraordinary harmonica with that cool little harmonica holder. I love that. You got a kazoo holder that looks like it was made out of a
Coat hanger.
And a very effective looking harmonica holder. So what's our last tune? We've got about a minute and a half to play.
It's called Do You Miss Me?
Oh, yes, I do. Rusty Bladen, ladies and gentlemen.
You've been gone 2 weeks on your big spring break, having too much fun down in the Sunshine State, while you're laying on the beach with the wind in your hair. I'm laying in bed wishing I was there. Now do you miss me? Whoa, baby, do you miss me? My days are short and my nights are long. I'm out late singing Jimmy Buffett songs, while you're feeling a nice warm ocean breeze. I'm watching it rain down the bare oak trees. Now do you miss me? Whoa, baby, do you miss me? Oh, yeah. There's an emptiness in my heart. It's the longest we've ever been apart, and you never treated me unkind. I wonder what's on your mind. Now do you miss me? Whoa, baby, do you miss me?
Rusty Bladen, ladies and gentlemen, do you miss me? Thanks to all of our guests. Next Monday on Take It From Tara, we're going to have another great lineup of guests, but we want to thank Slugger City Bully Buddies with Caroline Kaufman. They brought in a Derby City dog rescue dog, Shay, who is available for adoption. Absolutely love this little dog. Susan Dallas from the Convention and Visitors Bureau of Louisville. We appreciate you so much for your time and your participation in the honesty section with the honesty coach, Marina Durbin. Thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of the show tonight. Also, Dr. Robin Della with Breckenridge Animal Hospital for her great help with Shay. Next week, Rebecca Eves is here with the Arrow Fund and another great rescue case. Kirk Candle on bike safety. Lisa Flannery talks yoga, and Janine Linder hopefully is going to stop by to talk about the Crescent Hill 4th of July celebration going on with a special musical guest. We appreciate all of you for being part of Crescent Hill Radio and Take It From Tara. Our show is sponsored by ABC Security for Linda Hillenbrand's Woman of the Year campaign for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. All this and more next Monday. It'll be the 1st of July at 5 p.m. on CrescentHillRadio.com. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you.
Come back again.
I'd be pleased to.
I'm Tara Bassett. It's Take It From Tara on CrescentHillRadio.com. More great music coming up.